I've always been an introvert. One of the symptoms of my introvertness is that my normal MO for picking up girls is to develop crushes on them and then hope that a relationship materializes on its own. Just like Mallory in middle school, or Anna and Claire in high school, or that girl with the purple streak in her hair in my college physics class. I just had these grand ideas in my mind that how great it would be for them to be my girlfriend, and then proceed to do absolutely nothing about it. When I got my first real job at a federal statistical agency in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, my crush was Carla. Carla was a short Iowa girl with long brown curly hair and an infectious smile. And I don't mean to make any political commentary on the lack of females in the maths and sciences, but there weren't a lot of girls in my statistics class in college. So you don't find a lot of cute girls who actually know what a chi-square distribution is. But they say you shouldn't date your coworkers. Something about not dipping your pen in the company ink. For what happens if you break up and everything gets all awkward at work? But I just could not shake my attraction for Carla. But unfortunately, I couldn't shake my introvertness either. So my longing just kept on happening from afar. One day, I was walking out of the break room when Carla was attempting to walk into the break room. Now, we've all been in those situations where you're walking down the hall and both of you go to the right and both of you go to the left and you just can't seem to get by each other. Well, I'm a lot bigger than Carla, and let's face it, I'm a lot bigger than everybody. So I decided I was just going to make a joke about running her over. So I said, one of these days, I'm going to take you out. And she replied, in your dreams. Now, the only thing worse than a joke not landing is getting turned down for a date that you didn't actually ask somebody. So I decided the awkwardness was not worth the chance, and I decided I had to do whatever I could to get Carla out of my mind. But we were still able to remain friendly as coworkers, and a few weeks later, she offered to take me on a trip to the local fair with her family and to the German festival in Sioux Falls with some of her friends. Now, I immediately thought this was a bad idea. But when it comes down to it, I really don't say no to Midwestern carnival food. And I'm the proud owner of a German hat. And there is only so many places where you can pull off a German hat. And we ended up having a great time at the fair. We even bonded on the way home over the episode of Friends where Joey Tribbiani gets the words moo and moot mixed up. It's a moo point. It doesn't matter. It's like a cow's opinion. It's moo. My mind started racing. Was my strategy of just waiting for a relationship to materialize on its own actually working? And that's when I started my scheming of how I was going to win Carla over with my mad polka skills. But when we got to the German festival, everything shifted. When I tried to strike up a conversation with Carla, she immediately volunteered to go to the beer tent and get beverages for everybody. When I tried to polka with Carla, I ended up dancing with her friend Mindy instead. After a while, I figured out that she was trying to set me up with her. Now, I just wasn't feeling the spark with my second choice dance partner that evening, so I decided to take my German hat and go home, because the entire night was moo. I really wasn't expecting much a few months later when I was invited to my coworker's wedding. This was Travis's second wedding of 3, and the whole event was taking place in a conference room in a hotel in downtown Sioux Falls. And we weren't even getting a whole meal out of the deal. We were just getting some appetizers and some dinner roll sandwiches. Eventually, the small talk with the co-workers died out, and I decided that I was going to make some entertainment of my own. Now, all of the tables in the reception hall had these disposable cameras on them. Now, I don't know if I need to describe to this crowd that disposable cameras are the cheap alternative we used before everybody had a cell phone that could immediately load their pictures to social media, or if this audience is hipster enough that half of you have a disposable camera in your pocket right now. But I grabbed the disposable camera and took a picture of the last ham sandwich sitting on the table. I ended up taking a picture of the ham sandwich with all of my coworkers. And I'm telling you, you haven't lived until you walk up to your boss, give him a ham sandwich, tell him it's your turn, take a picture of him, and walk away. I ended up taking a picture of the ham sandwich in a plant, a picture of the ham sandwich with the DJ, a picture of the ham sandwich with the shirtless ring bearer on the dance floor, and probably the highlight of the evening, a picture of the ham sandwich with one of the groomsmen on the changing table in the men's bathroom. Now, I was so enamored with my ham sandwich escapades that I did not even notice that Carla was getting more sociable. At one point she said, "Oh, I love this song." I thought that was really weird because the song that was playing was "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. A little while later she said, "Oh, I'm so jealous that only the bride and groom get to go on the dance floor during the dollar dance." I thought that was strange too, because of course the bride and groom are the only people that get to be out there during the dollar dance. Everybody else has to pay to go out there. But I finally figured out that Carla had ulterior motives with her final statement. "I'm so jealous of the flower girl. She's gotten to dance so much more than me tonight." I finally got the hint, and I waited for the DJ to play the appropriate upbeat power ballad, and I asked Carla to dance. At the beginning of that night, I never would have guessed that I would be dancing with the girl of my dreams. Now, I'm under no illusion that that ham sandwich got me a dance with Carla. I'm also under no illusion that my plan of letting a relationship materialize on its own was actually a good idea either. But I do know if it wouldn't have been for that night, I wouldn't have asked Carla on a date a couple weeks later. If it wouldn't have been for that night, I wouldn't have asked Carla to marry me a couple of years after that. And if it wouldn't have been for that night, I wouldn't be telling the story about my wife of 3 years in a dance club in Washington, D.C. That night was definitely not moved. Not bad for an introvert and a ham sandwich.